Kerry Katona hadn't made it. Pop star, TV presenter and actress. But dumped by Brian McFadden, her world began to fall apart. She found herself in rehab. Kerry needed a man who would bring her the love and stability to rebuild her life. She got cab driver Mark Croft.
I never liked Mark Croft from the start. There's a lot of things that could be said about Mark Croft, but not here today for legal reasons. But I just did not think he was a nice person from the get-go.
I don't think a lot of people like Mark very much.
And he really just went about spending all her money as quickly as he could.
Say we do a photo shoot for 40 grand, I get £20,000 of that.
He looked like when he was standing behind, he might be like pickpocketing her wallet out of her bag.
Front teeth come off, 600 quid each.
Everybody was like, who the hell is this guy?
They all think he's having affairs every bleeding night.
Poor Kerry, as I say, bad luck all the way.
They all think he's bleeding me dry.
Apparently, he even cast one flashy card aside simply because it was too big for the car park of Sainsbury's.
I said he's a scumbag, don't you?
Dating Mark Croft is sort of a trophy husband that really isn't a trophy at all.
Just as with first husband Brian McFadden, a whirlwind romance was followed by a quick proposal. The couple were married in Gretna Green on St. Valentine's Day 2007.
Kerry's wedding to Mark Croft couldn't have differed any more from her spectacular extravaganza with Brian McFadden in Slane Castle.
She famously did a nice land wedding, wasn't it? But, you know, with the dead things on sticks and the sausages or whatever.
12 o'clock in the afternoon, there's all these other little wedding ceremonies going on in the church in Gretna Green.
It just seemed all very rushed and not romantic and just a bit shabby, to be honest.
When Kerry arrives in with Mark, they're covered in black umbrellas again to stop anyone getting a glimpse of them. They go in to the little church, they come out, and then they go back into the wedding reception, which also has the wedding receptions of about 7 or 8 different families who've got married that day, and they're all celebrating with pints of beer, pork scratchings, pickled onions, eggs, crisps, and curly sandwiches. And that was what her wedding buffet was like in the night. It was absolutely shambolic. It would have been an embarrassment to anyone except for Kerry.
I think that's one of the best things she ever did. Listen, I'm a big star, you know, everybody knows me, but I'm having a normal wedding.
Heidi Elizabeth Croft was born 6 days later and 6 weeks early. As a child, Kerry had been taken into foster care when her mother was stabbed. Now she was about to relive the horrors of the past. In July 2007, armed raiders invaded her home, terrorising Kerry, Mark and tiny baby Heidi.
I think that the worst time probably for Kerry was when her house was broken into.
Well, as far as I know, 3 intruders broke into the house and they threatened that they were going to rape and kill them if they didn't give all their valuables.
They were only young lads, young scallies, with balaclavas, a knife, a sledgehammer and a crowbar. Came into the room and marched around the house in cut long story short, they robbed us.
Now, they took stuff that has a value.
Well, the only one thing that really meant anything to me that they took was my engagement ring and my wedding ring. Everything else could have got replaced.
And I can only imagine having had a childhood like she had that probably saw quite a lot of violence and quite a lot of disturbing elements, that it probably did bring everything back to her.
A couple of days later, she was readmitted into the Priory, suffering from depression, and really went downhill again after that.
And I think she probably did need a bit of a break and some time to rest and recover. Obviously, we have to remember that Kerry has been diagnosed as being bipolar. A trauma like that can obviously set you back if you're already slightly fragile.
Amid rumours of a stormy relationship with Croft, Kerry gave birth to her 4th child, Maxwell. This time, the birth was caught on camera.
Well, and then there's the televised birth of her 4th child. I mean, it's a bit crazy, but, you know, such is the modern era of reality TV. I mean, it would be kind of funny to try and get that baby to sign a release form a couple of minutes old, but whatever. I mean, it's very strange.
Baby Max is apparently named after Max Clifford, Kerry's publicist at the time, which I really hope is just a rumour and not the truth, because if it's the truth, that's terribly disturbing.
In the first of 3 reality TV shows, Crazy in Love featured her unconventional and unpredictable life with Mark.
Crazy in Love, just plain crazy, really.
What worried me about doing the show is that no one would watch it.
Kerry's MTV shows are literally car crash television. It is how low can you go?
Well, I think I wanted people to see the real me and Mark, but I don't think it came across very well. Are you going to help me do it or not?
Well, where's the tree? In the garage. Where am I going? In the garage.
Well, I can't
Yeah.
Everything now, it seems, in Kerry's life is up for sale.
If I was at home watching that, I think all to do is row. She's a miserable cow. And all you got about is yourself.
Let's do something I want to do for a change.
You know what? You just cheat. Everything that we do is what you want to do.
And very sadly, she is throwing herself out there on an MTV show where it's hard to watch at times. You're watching a young woman who's clearly very ill in public demise.
People love to hate me. So I guess that's why they watch. They love to watch me to hate me, I guess.
Reality TV was big business, and Kerry and Mark began to spend. Kerry's crazy antics soon lost her the public sympathy. Now she was about to lose her fortune. In August 2008, she was publicly declared bankrupt after failing to pay £82,000 in tax. In an attempt to revive her career, she opted for expensive cosmetic surgery to be filmed on her new reality show.
So, what type of treatment are you interested in?
I think I want this implant took out. I also want mine a bit of lipo as well.
Because you've got the love handles.
Yeah.
She has been through these transformations before. We've all seen practically every bit of her body.
When Kerry was planning the big cosmetic, redo, at the same time when her finances were in the doldrums, I mean, that's a bad strategy, especially because you're going to have a lot of health turmoil. You never want to match that with financial turmoil, you know?
Then, in an act of professional suicide, she appeared on This Morning. Her slurred speech and disturbing demeanour caused alarm to fans and colleagues alike.
Oh my God, This Morning interview was just car crash TV. It was one of those moments when you're jumping behind the sofa and watching it through your fingers.
Kerry's appearance on that show was the most disturbing bit of TV for years.
I felt really sorry for her.
Holy Lord, what is happening here?
Well, the interview was 9 minutes long, and it was very clear that there was something wrong with her.
And you just wanted to give her a big hug. You just wanted to love her. I just think this girl is she's nobody to look after or love her, especially when her husband was sitting there and he brought her into that environment. If he gave a damn about that woman, he wouldn't have let her on the TV that day.
You don't seem right to me. I mean, your speech is a bit slurred.
That's why I was on medication last night.
If I was Philip Schofield on This Morning, I would have done exactly the same thing. She agreed to take part on the show in the first place. And I think he was right to kind of confront her and ask her, was she okay? Because she was slurring her words. She wasn't really making sense at all. And if anyone was to blame, it was her agent. He should never have let her on the show in the first place.
Regardless of whether it was medication, whether it was drugs or whether it was drink, or regardless of what it was, there was something wrong with her. And I don't think it was fair to continue the interview.
I thought it was quite arrogant and ignorant to me say, I have an illness called bipolar, which is a very, very serious mental illness, which you heard the doctor say yourself. 2 different doctors say that I have bipolar.
I think they handled it really well on This Morning, because they kind of did say, are you okay? Do you want to continue? I think that's what I would have done. Kind of, if the guest wants to continue, wants to be there and say what they have to say, it was up to them to get drunk or to use drugs or do whatever they did before they went on air.
And it was my medication. Never once did they ask me, what's bipolar? How does it affect you? What medications you're on? Why is it affecting you like this? Never once. They just went, so have you been drinking?
The presenters just didn't know how to handle her and what to do. People just knew after that she really needed help and somebody needed to intervene.
I just can't help. I do things without thinking.
It was just sad to see somebody crumbling before you.
Coming up, caught on camera taking cocaine and the ultimate betrayal.